Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Rainy Nights, the segment of my YouTube channel where I interview other motor vloggers and motorcycle personalities. If you haven't been here before, I am Rainy Rider. I ride a 2019 BMW Grand America and a 2021 Harley Sportster. Feel free to give the channel a like and a subscribe. Tonight we have AZDZ Adventures. It rolls right off the tongue. How you guys doing tonight?
Good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. So, well, let's get rolling. Where are you guys from and what do you ride?
We are from the Marysville, Ohio area, and I have a 2017 Softail Deluxe.
I ride a 2019 Street Bob.
Nice. So I just met you guys at Forgotten Angels. It's
Yeah.
very nice. And you have jumped on this YouTube wagon with just rolling the videos. And they're nice. So what do you actually do for a living? Because nobody just jumps on YouTube and just rolls and makes good videos like that in the beginning.
Well, we actually both work in the auto manufacturing industry right now, but I had a little experience in high school with making videos and whatnot. So
Okay, so you've had some experience.
yeah.
Totally jealous. Because the rest of us had to squeak it out and had no clue what was doing. Because like when I was in high school learning, anything, computer wise, it was DOS on an old Apple IIe. So I did not get the heads up everyone else got.
Yeah.
So how long? I guess I'll let one of you answer first. The next time, the next one will answer first. You guys can just jump back and forth. If you're gonna want to flip a coin and see who goes first. We'll let the pretty girl go first. How long have you been riding?
Actually, like just barely under a year. I'll hit my year mark like next week, I think.
Okay, you're not doing bad. You're riding a boss ass motorcycle, if I do say so myself. So you did not start off small then, or did you?
No, I didn't.
You just jumped in with both feet and said, "Let's go."
Yep.
How about you?
I've been my Deluxe is actually my first bike. I bought brand new in 2017. That's why I
Nice.
started riding motorcycles at least.
So you've been riding what, about not quite 5 years. She's been riding about a year. So you're enough into it. Are you an everyday rider, a sometime rider, a sunny day rider, a rough rider?
We try to ride, especially when it's really nice out, and sometimes we'll go out when it gets colder. Just depends on where we're going and what we're doing.
Ohio
Going
makes it
to
hard.
from work, it's like, especially at 4:35 in the morning. It's like, is it worth bundling up for a 10-minute drive to work?
I think Ohio changes the dynamic.
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough to be in Mississippi where if it's you only have to worry about is it too cold maybe a month out of the year. And then sporadically, in the early spring or late winter, but most of the time I'm lucky enough to just ride.
Yeah, we're always flipping a coin on when is winter going to start this year? When is it going to end?
Right on. We've got in the chat, we've got some guy named Nothing at Random. I don't know who that guy is.
That weirdo.
Who's that?
We've also got my wife, the Pillion, and Journey of Jerry. Hey Jerry, what's going on, man? Nice to see you, man.
Yay!
So, so you've been riding for 5 years. I'll let you go first this time. What got you into motorcycling? What made you decide I'm going to start riding a motorcycle?
Well, actually, at the time we were living in Virginia for a little bit, and I'm a gearhead. That's how I like to put it. I'm just a gearhead. I had a Project Mustang at one point in time in my life, but unfortunately bills came before that, and I had to sell it. And really, I've always liked motorcycles. Actually, when I was a kid, my dad actually used to deliver Harleys sometimes. And one of the times I was out with him in a semi truck, we were delivering to a bunch of Harley dealers in Iowa. And I saw this $80,000 chopper, and I'm like, "Hey, Dad, can I get that?" He's like, "Of course you choose the expensive one." Like, they had it on a rotating showpiece and everything. Probably the most expensive bike in the dealership at the time. So yeah, and then I decided, I'm going to try to ride them since I'm living in Virginia and it's nice out and it's a little bit better on gas than the truck I had at one point in time. And then when I was looking at sport bikes and whatnot, because everybody's like, "Oh, you need to get like a 300cc bike," and blah blah. I'm like, okay, well, it's only sport bikes, so look into those. And then she's like, "Oh, I want to ride on the back." I'm like, okay, so went to the Harley dealer and ended up trading her truck in for my bike.
Nice. That's love.
We weren't even actually married at the time yet.
We like just barely got engaged at that point.
No, it was 2 months before marriage.
Oh,
Because it was September.
Okay, yeah.
It was Labor Day weekend
you're
before.
Right.
So.
Pretty nice. So Harley's the first bike. Not too bad.
Yep.
And then you decided to stop riding pillion? How'd you get into it?
Well, he wanted to keep going on longer and longer trips, and on the back of a Softail Deluxe, it's not fun to go very far. We were actually like going on the highway one day, we were getting ready to merge, and he like for some reason leaned really far forward and like looked way over his shoulder, and I got hit with that wind, and I saw like the road in front of me, and I was like, ooh, I'm in trouble now.
It turns into an itch, and you need to
Yeah.
consistently scratch it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, well, we talked about you living in Ohio. The weather's pretty iffy, but who inspires you to ride? What makes you get up on a clear, cold morning? You don't have to work and go, I'm going to go riding today. It could be a who, could be a what.
Honestly, I really like just riding in general. Like, I would rather do that over driving in the car, so if I can take the bike, I will.
I get it. Welcome, Juice. Welcome in. Another one of those crazy FA crowd.
Yeah.
So you've gone on a couple of group rides now. You've gone on some short ones. What do you prefer, riding in a group, riding 2x2, just the two of you, or riding by yourself?
Aaron says we inspire him,
Aww.
or he inspires us. Sorry.
I would say it's the other way around. I think we're all inspiring Aaron to get out and actually ride a real motorcycle.
Right?
Oh, I did at a home.
I saw that. I saw that.
I showed him how to ride it after he rode it.
I will have to say, all of my friends used to be down here. Now I noticed most of my friend group is all in Ohio now. Everybody's in Ohio now, which is unfair. Because if there's so many of you up there, I can't get you to move down here. I feel cheated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't like how hot it gets in the summer down, or hot and humid it gets down south.
Ah,
Virginia,
yeah.
as far south as I want to ever go again, living wise.
That's fair. So, by yourself, group, twins, what do you like?
With groups, it really just depends on who we're with. Like,
Yeah.
we're with like people we know and get along with. It can be like 20, 30 people. I don't really care. When you start getting into the bigger groups, like we've done a couple poker runs, and luckily enough, they're go as you want, not, oh, you gotta stay in this pack. It's like, which I like, because we only do this one poker run, but it's called the Ohio Ride for Autism, and if I had to stay with all those people, I don't know if I'd do it, because everybody's drinking 2 to 3 beers every stop.
Yeah,
Yep.
not-
Our last poker run that me and my wife did, it started as a poker run, and they said, well, if it can be a beer run, you have to wait 1 hour before you can leave. If you get here and have a beer, you can't leave until after an hour. But people are just rocketing out anyway, trying to get their punches. And by the time we got back, we left toward like the end of the group, because I like to just follow the group. I like to stay in the back, ride my own ride. And we literally beat probably 80% of the field back to the clubhouse, and found out that there was a wreck, and one group had hit a truck head on, and the other one ran off the road, and the girl was like really messed up. But it's because they were all out drinking. And I don't know, everybody has their own feelings, everybody has their limit of what they will and won't drive on. But for me, if I'm going to be in a group like that, it's zero. I do not like to go out at all with a group.
We've left bike nights extra early because we notice how drunk some people are getting. It's like, okay, time to go.
Yeah.
Yep. I get it. So, what is your favorite moto meetup? So you've gone to a few campouts now, you've done some rides. Let's talk about the campouts. What's the favorite campout you've gone to?
Well, I've only gone to 2, which was Babes Ride Out East Coast and Forgotten Angels, and I think I like Forgotten Angels just a little better because it's a little bit smaller. It's definitely more kind of like a easy, laid back feeling. I feel like. Don't get me wrong, Babes Ride Out was like really fun, but I kind of like the smaller community.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So what about if? Oh, so go ahead.
Sorry.
Jump the guns.
She's actually done more motorcycle trips now than I have, which is sad. I've been riding longer, and she's technically done more trips.
You're on my level,
So,
bro.
yeah. So
I was not a group rider until, you know, I did not like going to. I had gone to like Little Sturgis in Kentucky, and I'd gone to different rides and poker runs and toy runs, and I really didn't like doing it, but I would do it if it was a good enough charity. And then when you start riding with a group like, you know, the Weirdos, that you actually like them, and they're the same guys, and you have common interests, and you're not out just to be crazy, you're out to have a good time. It changes the dynamic, and you enjoy it more.
Yeah.
So you end up doing it more.
Like the first motorcycle event that we really went to, where we traveled for it, was the 530 Bikers meetup in Uranus, Missouri last year, and we had a blast.
Yeah,
That was
not pretty fun.
Yeah, that was because we all. There wasn't like anybody trying to show off. Nobody really cared what you rode. So, and we're planning on going to that again here this year, which it's in Louisville. So,
But you did the breakfast at Nicole's too.
Incoming blue.
what was that? Sorry.
Hi, dog. You also do the rides and the meetups at Throttle Co.
Oh yeah, we have done a couple of them. So,
Yeah.
so we just really started doing those this year because we went to one of her bike nights last year and we didn't know anybody, so we kind of just never talked to anybody. There's dog.
Hi, dog. Dogs are lovely. Yeah, it ends up turning into a family, I think. When you start going with the groups and it's not a crazy thing and everybody just meeting up and talking and having a good time, it does end up becoming a very close group. And then you stop going to see motorcycles, you actually start going to see people. Granted, it's still nice to see motorcycles, but you start really liking the people that are there and going for that instead.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about Forgotten Angels. This will be this next is our fourth time there, and I actually go to see the people because now they're my friends and my family. And the bikes are cool, the camp out's cool, you know, all the food's cool, and going out and riding is cool, but you know, it's the people that make it great.
Yeah. Yeah, people can definitely make a difference with events. That's for sure.
So we'll start with you first, Dee. What is the stupidest thing you have ever done on a motorcycle?
Besides just last weekend doing probably double this posted speed limit on accident.
On accident?
Yeah, on accident, you know.
Accident.
I was just giving it some gas. I didn't realize how fast the bike went. Never actually gotten to get on it that hard.
Sometimes
Last
it's
time
fun.
I was getting ready to pass the guide on his Sport Glide.
You have to see sometimes what the bike will do. And I actually, so I'm teaching my daughter how to drive. And I took her out today and I said, we got on the back road and I said, no, hit the throttle. Put the pedal to the floor. Because she has a problem with accelerating. And she nailed it and it sped up and it was really nice and comforting. I was like, now, you know, did that scare you? Did it get away from you? Did you end up in the ditch? And she's like, no. And I said, well, then don't be scared of the throttle. You have to know what that bike will do or that car to be able to control it. Because if you ever need to do something and you've never done it before and you're scared of doing it, you won't do it. Whether that be hit the brakes, whether that be hit the throttle, whatever. Sometimes you just need to know what that throttle will do. And it's cool. Sometimes it's very cool to do that. But yeah, I see nothing wrong with that. You did a good thing. Nothing wrong about that.
Yeah.
So how about you?
I would say that was probably last weekend. I was riding on my way up to Babes Ride Out, and I was trying to follow my GPS as good as I could. I'm like really geographically challenged. And it looked like the road I needed was like straight in front of me, and then it kind of curved off because that's what GPS was showing. Well, there was a second road that curved off and branched off of that road I was on, so I almost missed it. And I was going way too fast, and I like leaned the bike over to try to hit that curve, and then another car came around the opposite way from the curve, and I was over the double yellow, and I just was, you know, clenching and praying. I was like, oh, please let me live. Like, came home with a flat peg, so probably the dumbest thing I've done so far, but everything turned out okay. It's fine.
Okay. So, how about the scariest thing?
That.
What about dropping the bike off the side of the road? That was pretty. That scared me.
That was a
Wait, we're
little
not supposed to
scary.
talk about that. Hold on. I'll back up.
Yeah, I didn't realize how far over I was, and then when I went to put my kickstand down, the ground was not under my foot, and I have really short legs, so I just kind of kept going, and there was no saving it.
Sometimes you just gotta let it go.
Yep.
Let it go. When you did that, I actually saw that video, and when he stopped, I was like, okay, don't try to stop real quick. And of course, you tried to stop real quick because you were more worried about him than you were worried about yourself.
Yeah.
And that's when you just kind of get like, I've done it before. I've actually, me and my wife went rollerblading and she fell, and I was trying to stop too fast. Instead of just kind of slowing down and going back to her, I tried to come to an immediate stop, and then I bit it harder than she did. I just flipped. So, yeah, it's hard when someone that you love gets hurt and you're trying to stop and real quickly, take control of the situation, and you just lose control of the situation yourself. So, yeah. Been there. So, what about you? Scariest moment ever?
Getting rear-ended.
On a
The
bike?
day- yeah.
Oh.
There was a girl running late to work. It was a little misty out. I was running to the post office to drop something off. We were sending some formula to a friend of ours that was having some trouble. Like, this was the day everything shut down for COVID too, when it happened. And I went to stop at a stop sign, and because I saw a car coming, and she was worried about trying to beat the car instead of stopping because she was running late for work. Was probably her last day of work because she was a waitress. So yeah, hit me with her Honda Accord.
Gee. Well, at least it wasn't a truck. How much
Yeah.
damage?
Oh, we thought the bike was totaled because they're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be about $12,000 to get it all
Jeez.
fixed. Because all the tins got replaced, new tires, brand new headlight or passing lamps, a whole bunch of different things.
Jeez, that's almost enough to buy a new motorcycle.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
more
I
than
thought
enough
it
to
was
buy
gonna
some.
total. Like, salespeople I was talking to and everything at the dealer were like, "Oh yeah, it's total. There's no way they're not going to total it." And then a call from the insurance company, "Where would you like the check sent to?" Said that straight to the dealership.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool that they replaced it. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at baggers and everything because I knew that was what I was going to upgrade to because she was still riding on the back at the time.
Oh, was she out? Oh, she was not on. You were going to.
Yeah, I was by
Okay.
myself.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it. I can make sense of this sometimes.
Yeah, she was
So-
actually still asleep when it happened.
Nice. So, Annette, what has been your favorite part of riding? I know you've only been riding about a year, but
Honestly, my favorite part about riding so far has just been going out and doing all these trips, especially like the longer distance ones. Because I mean, I thought when I first started learning to ride, it was like super difficult, and I was really struggling to get decent with it, and the concepts of like turning and just stupid stuff. I didn't think I was ever going to get it. So pretty much my favorite part is just doing all that long trips, being like, hey, look, I did it, I can do it, yay.
awesome.
Yeah.
Same. Carson just came in. Hello, Carson. Nice to see you. All my friends coming to play. So, what about you? Favorite part of riding?
Just being able to get out and just not have to worry about anything. Just, I've always been like that. Even in cars, I can get that way sometimes. Not as much as I used to, right? Because I started riding motorcycles. But yeah, I just love being able to just go out and enjoy the weather, especially when it's nice out.
Nice. So, what was your epiphany moment where you decided, after you were riding for a while, you said, "This is for me. I will never not be on a motorcycle"?
Probably when I had to start dailying it because one of our cars got jumped on by a deer while she was driving through West Virginia. So I had to daily my bike for a while because we were down to one car and my bike. So I mean, that was when I realized how much I actually enjoyed it, because that was when I actually got to ride a lot.
Cool.
So, because at the time I was working 2 jobs, so it was like not much time to do anything.
Right on. So that was your enjoyment for the day, actually getting able to ride.
Mm-hmm.
So Annette, what about you?
I would say probably shortly after I got my license, we were riding somewhere, I don't remember where, but just seeing him in front of me on his bike and me being on my own, and we were just riding through some pretty curvy roads through the countryside, and I was like, you know what, I really enjoy this. This is like my happy place. So.
Nice. So, flip side of that, Annette first, what has been the most frustrating thing about riding to you?
Learning in the very beginning. I kept dropping the bike, and it, for some reason, right turns I could not get the concept of for the longest time. Like, there were several times I just like walked away and just didn't want to do it anymore, and then he got frustrated with me for getting frustrated, and I was just like, no, I don't want to do this. I was like, but I really want to do this. It's like all that bipolar, you know. That's been the most frustrating thing, was just starting. But now that I've got the hang of it, I don't really find much frustration anymore.
I think everybody reaches a point where, when you first start, I think it's if you're right-handed or left-handed, you have a harder time turning one way than the other, because your body just doesn't think it needs to do it. You feel more confident leaning into your dominant side. But some people are flopped. I mean, I guess it's like the artistic or academic part of your brain, whichever one I guess leads. But yeah, everybody has that. There's one thing that's just simple for everybody else, and you just can't get. And all of a sudden, one day you just get it, and it's there. So, what about you?
Not having enough time off work to go do the things I want to do.
Yeah, I agree.
That's probably the hardest thing about riding for me anymore. It's just like, because I caught on fairly quickly, luckily enough. So, because I didn't really know anybody else that rode at all. So I was just like, well, I mean, there was a couple people that we knew that rode, but they were part of bigger groups. Or their schedule was the complete opposite of mine, so there was no way they could help me out.
I think the hardest thing for me to learn was clutching, because I grew up on a farm, so I was used to driving tractors and trucks.
Yeah.
And I was used to coming out on it pretty quickly, trying to not lose traction. And on the bike, if you come out quickly, especially on a big cruiser, and when you're decelerating, you slide. It's like you threw the brakes on. And I remember I was in Virginia. I was in the Navy, and I was taking the rider course, the BRC. And the guy kept telling me, don't hit the back brake so hard. I'm like, I'm not even touching the back brake. And he goes, no, your whole back wheel's sliding. And I'm like, I'm not even touching the brake. And it was because I was coming out on the clutch so fast that I was, my back wheel would just lock up and spin. And it took me years to not do that. I would control it when I was on a course just where I could pass. But when I was out on the road, I'd slide the wheel every time coming to a stop, because I didn't know how to control that clutch.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially older bikes that don't have all the new fancy electronics anymore. Some of these new, especially like some of the technology BMWs have anymore. It's
oh yeah.
I don't even think they would even do that anymore if you just dropped it.
Oh yeah, even my Harley though, the Sportster, I'll forget sometimes. I'll get off the BMW, get on the Harley, and I'll start dragging that back tire, or spinning it on startup, or sliding on a curve, because we're just not used to it. Yeah. But yeah, summertime though, this summer, now that I've gotten a bigger tank on it, it is more than my daily driver. So I'm getting more used to the Harley. So now I need to make time to bring the BMW out. So
yeah.
That's another story. Let's not make this about me. Let's make this about you. So, what are your plans for the new year? Now, you just came from Babes. So, now it's your turn to take a ride, D. Where are you going? Leave her at home to take care of the dog.
I don't know. Actually, me and Aaron were talking, especially once he gets his new bike, talking about hitting all the Ohio Harley dealerships, at least. And because I actually mapped it out, I can do a 1K in a day, hitting every single one.
Jeez, you gotta stop though.
Yeah,
can't just-
I'm
can't just
like,
stop and
well,
go. You gotta
we're
stop
not
at
all
'em.
going to be open. So, but I was just bored one day and just got on Google and just started mapping out every single one.
So there is a meetup this July because I'm coming up to Ohio and I plan on having a meetup at Nicole's. So
Yeah.
there you go. You're welcome.
Yeah,
Coming out.
when you said something about that the other night, I'm like, oh, cool. We're not super busy mid-July, which is when you said you're expecting to be coming up.
Last September I went up and I had probably 8 people tell me, "Yeah, I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there." And the only one that showed up was Beth. So,
Dang.
but I met Aaron there, and I unofficially met Aaron because I saw him and we made eye contact and we kind of did the thing to each other. So, and
Yeah.
but now I know him better. Now I actually know him, so it'll be different this time because there's probably 9-10 people that I know from Forgotten Angels or from the Weirdo meetups and stuff, and
Mhm.
actually no, probably more like 12 people. So this time will be much more cooler, and it'll be a lot better this time because I actually know people, not just through Instagram and YouTube. Actually have met these people, so it'll be cooler.
Yeah.
I promise. We'll have a good time. Show up, please.
Oh yeah.
Don't leave me hanging. Aaron. Josh and Ashley Harris just came in. Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah.
If you don't know, Ashley Harris, and so Josh does these things where Ashley cooks and he dubs over the top of them. She cooks and he does. I think one of them she made like tacos or something. So he dubbed it to make it look like she was making possum tacos, talking about the meat, and it was they're very cool. If you don't know, love it. So Annette, what about you? What are you gonna do this year? I'm sorry, I talk too much and I steal the show. What are you doing this year?
I mean, doing a lot this year. Actually, the next thing coming up, it's the beginning of July. Our work shuts down for a week to do a whole bunch of maintenance. So we're gonna go visit my mom in North Carolina. We're taking the car, but we're putting the bikes on the trailer. And my mom is she's still technically a new rider, even though she's had her license for a couple years. And she is super excited for us to like go out and ride with her and try to push her a little bit to get more comfortable with riding. So I'm excited to go down and ride with her.
Cool. That's a special ride.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have bars and a seat for her to do because she's like, I feel like I'm not comfortable because I'm leaning too far forward and I slide off my seat because she has a 2020 Softail Slim.
Yeah, she still has.
Yeah, she just barely hit 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
She'll get there.
Yeah.
That's cool though to be able to ride with a parent. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Especially because she was super against the motorcycle when we brought it home when we bought his.
Oh, yeah, she hated me for that.
Yeah. I remember she came out of the house. She's like, "What the hell were you thinking? A motorcycle?" Now she's riding and wants to go riding.
very excellent. So, all right, Ashley, I'm sorry. Annette first. What bike, if someone came to you, but you're a new rider, so this may be different for you. If somebody came to you and said, you know what, people told me to get that 250 after the BRC. Now I'm ready to move up and I want a comfortable, reliable bike that I can ride and keep for a while. What should I get? What would you tell them?
Man, I don't know because I haven't had a chance really to go out and test ride better bikes. But I know me myself, I've been able to go ride the BMW R18B. Looking into that or like a road glide. So, but I guess for like a beginner, I don't know because a lot of people always say start small, but I didn't start small, so I feel like a hypocrite saying that.
I never tell anybody to start small. I tell them get something that's big enough you can get it on the highway because you're gonna.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be upset with the bike that you get that you're gonna outgrow in the first 6 months.
Right.
Yeah. I've actually told people before that are interested in riding, I'm like, go to every dealership you can and sit on every bike. Find out what you like about bikes, and then worry about, possible engine size. Because it's like, you like sport bikes? Okay, cool. You got a whole wide variety of ranges and stuff. And then if you want cruisers, a whole bunch of those too. So, because have a buddy at work. He's been talking about getting a Can-Am Spider, but now he's looking at a V-Star 650 for his first bike.
Yeah, I'll give anybody any advice they want, but when it comes to paying for it, it's going to be up to you. So you might want to make that decision. I'll tell you how to, you know, what to look for on a bike. I can't tell you which bike to get.
Right.
Yeah, because I've told people before, I'm like, if you're not comfortable sitting on the bike, you're not going to be comfortable riding it.
Good advice. So if you could go anywhere on a motorcycle today, starting anywhere and riding to anywhere, where would it be? And would you bring her?
Yeah, pretty much would have to almost. Just going out west, I've taken a couple trips out there. It's been a while, and I just every time I see anybody's videos like Jess and all of them, I was just like, I want to go out there and explore more.
So you're talking southern west or northwest?
All of it, pretty much.
Do we want to see mountains or do we want to see deserts?
Yes, the answer is
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Valid answer.
Mexico. But I haven't been like anything north of it, really, except for in a plane, but once. But
You said you have rode through Mexico?
no, I've been to New
okay.
Mexico. No, I did a
Mexico.
backpacking trip out of high school out there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Annette, what about you?
I mean, I kind of want to hit every state and ride my motorcycle in every state, or at least rent one to ride in every state. And I definitely want to hit like all the national parks too, because furthest west I've ever been is Missouri, so I haven't been very far out west.
Well, you got the whole world to see then.
Yeah, I know.
So it's different for you, I guess, because you just started. So you're building your list. You're building your long list, and you're lucky enough that he's there with you. It's not like you got to go. Okay, I got to go do all this by myself.
Yeah.
No, that'll come in 5 years. You'll probably go, yeah, I think I want to make one trip all by myself. Just say I did it. But you're lucky though to have a partner that actually rides too and can go anywhere with you. It's very convenient. Somebody's going to take care of the dog though, but it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we got friends that will help us out with that a lot of times when we take trips and whatnot.
Make Aaron do it. His bike won't keep up anyway. Just kidding, Aaron. Sort of.
Not really.
So, no, he's gonna get a bigger bike because he's gonna. He's got the fever now, man. He's got the tick.
He does.
He's got the tick, and he's got Rocky Mountain spotted fever. It's in him now. So.
Oh yeah, especially I was laughing so hard at him when we were demo riding, and he was on the Pan America. He was just like, "Oh crap!" I didn't even have to see his actual face through his visor. I could just tell.
I would have loved to have seen that. That would have been awesome. So, have you inspired anyone to ride or wrench on their own bikes? You said your mother got into it before you did.
Mm-hmm.
So, who have you inspired?
I mean, I don't know if I've really inspired anybody yet. Working on it though.
Do you wrench on your own bikes?
Yeah, I actually need to do 10K on her bike
Cool.
and new tires.
Excellent. Highly, Now now you guys need to go inspire Aaron to work on his own bike, and then we'll be good.
I told him when you get your new bike, any upgrades you want help installing, bring it up. I'm like, you can even have them shipped to our house, so you don't have to worry about trying to figure out how to pack it on the bike. Like, come on over. I got a lift and everything.
Yeah, it's only hard the first time. Once you do it, once you get that confidence about working on your own bike, working on your own car, whatever, you got it, and you start to feel like you're invulnerable. You can do anything. You can do this.
Mm-hmm.
What? Change the tire? Spoon it myself? I can do it. Bearings? I can do it.
Although she doesn't let me do tire spoons anymore because I bent my rotor on my bike, changing the tires.
I will give it one shot at trying to spoon it. If it's too hard, the rotor's coming off. Try it once with it on over a 5-gallon bucket, and after that, it's like, okay, it's coming off.
Yeah, I bent the rotor. I think the guy at the dealership said the run out was 85 thousandths. He's like,
good job.
How did you do that?
You bounced it? You dropped it?
No, just changing the tire. He's like,
85. That's almost a 16th of an inch. Damn.
yeah.
Damn. Well, okay. It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. Rotors are cheap. No problem.
Yeah, that was about well because it was at the dealership because I thought I got air in the ABS or something somehow because it was just the front brake would just die off randomly. So I'm like, oh, probably got some air in it. So I took the dealer to have it bled because you got to have a special tool for Harley ABS, the program to activate it, and they're like, oh yeah, it was your rotor. So $150 later.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. Tried to save some money, ended up costing me a lot more.
Cold story, you tried.
Pretty much.
All right. So, having ridden for a while, if you could tell a new rider one thing that you had to learn the hard way, what would it be?
Don't be afraid. Just go at your own pace. Don't listen to what other people think you should do, but don't be afraid to try new things. That's the best. That's like some of the best advice I've given her. I mean, all the way up until she woke up, she was getting ready to leave for Babes Ride Out. She was just like, nope, can't do it.
No, I was excited until the night before, and then the anxiety got me, and I was like, I'm not going. I'm not gonna go.
Yeah.
Oh, so Carson's asked me what I would do if I had a flat tire on the side of the road. I'd take the rotor off. I wouldn't even try to change it on the side of the road and leave the rotor on.
Yeah,
It's
that's
coming
called
off.
Called tow truck.
Yeah.
I got tubes.
I even for my 77 BMW, I ran tubeless tires on it, but I had tubes on it.
Yeah.
Because if you tear a tire, it's easier to just put a tube in it. Back then, that BMW was before I learned about plugging, and that's back when I still thought plugging is bad. You know, if you plug a tire, you're gonna die, and that's what people tell me now when I plug my tires, and I'm like, okay, have a nice day.
I mean, like the rope plugs, they're temporary. That's what people forget with those. When you use the rope plugs, they're actually only for temporary use to get you to a shop to get it properly patched. But I mean, even in the Harley manual, it tells you how to patch a tire.
Yeah, they're easy. It's not hard.
Which
I actually have. I've got a plug in my Sportster that's been in there for about 3,000 miles, and on my cars, I'll put a plug in and never take it out. I've actually went to change tires for, and they're like, you got 4 plugs in that tire. Yeah, but I got 20,000 miles out of it, so good on me.
Yeah, I mean sometimes they hold.
When tires were $50 a piece, no problem. Now tires are like $250 a piece, and it's like, no, we won't be doing that today.
Yeah, we just put new tires on our Pilot, and that was $1,300.
Shoot.
Yeah. I didn't even get the most expensive thing.
Annette, what about you?
I think advice-wise, I would say the same thing that Devin said. Just don't be like, don't be scared. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna make mistakes, but you just got to keep learning. 'Cause mistakes are how you learn. So, and then also to have a respect for the bike. That way, you're not doing stupid stuff right off the bat.
Yeah, even if you make an expensive mistake, you've learned from it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you learn that maybe you shouldn't do it yourself.
Yeah.
But we were changing the brakes earlier. My daughter was worried about tearing the brake hose, tearing the lines, and I'm like, well, if you rupture it, I know how to bleed brakes. We have 3 more vehicles to go get shit from the auto store. Go for it. And if you tear it, replace it, move on. You've learned how to do it either way. Then you learn another skill. You learn how to replace brake lines.
Yeah. And how to bleed.
All right. So let's do you first. Annette's turn first. If you could buy any bike right now, but you had to own it for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh man. I don't know. Right now, it's a toss-up between, like, you know, just, don't be, like, you know, don't be scared. You're gonna make mistakes, but you just gotta keep learning. 'Cause mistakes are how you learn. So, and then also to have a respect for the bike. That way you're not doing stupid stuff right off the bat. Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe a Road Glide special or like a Pan America or maybe even a Triumph Tiger, but I haven't gotten to test ride any of those, so I don't know if I'd actually like it. I think I'd probably go more the Road Glide option though, because I do like to take long distance trips. So
I've learned to never buy a bike that I can't test drive.
right,
And that's the advice I'd give anybody. So yeah, if they won't let you ride it, don't buy it.
yeah,
Yeah. There's actually a Harley dealer here just south of Columbus that you can't not test ride the bike until you make a deal. It's like finance paperwork almost has to be filed before they'll let you test ride it. I'm like, no.
No, we were making a joke the other night. So, but 20 years ago, you could walk into a Harley dealer, you couldn't even sit on the bikes. You know, if you're gonna buy it, you don't sit on it.
Mm-hmm.
And Harley dealers, you can go to any Honda dealer rather into a Honda dealer, and they're like, yeah, take it out for a ride. It's actually flipped the other way around now.
Yeah.
Even my BMW, I went in. They're like, "You want to take it for a ride?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Before in the Harley place down here, they're like, "You want to take it for a ride?" Sure. Honda would not let me get on the bike. I don't know if y'all saw that stream or not, but Honda said when I asked to ride a Valkyrie, they said, "Yeah, give me a few minutes." And the dude left and he came back. He goes, "I'm waiting for the guy to call me back." I'm like, "Who, the mechanic?" And he's like, "No, there's a guy that bought one a few days ago. I'm gonna see if he'll drive back over and let you ride it." What?
What?
I'm like, can't you just put, he goes, no, we're not going to put any fluids in them until they get sold.
Oh.
And I'm like, how the hell do you sell anything? Well, it's, it's amazing. They never have anything on the floor because they can't keep their inventory up. But that's why. They don't do business because the only thing that they'll actually sell there pretty much is four-wheelers, side-by-sides, ATVs. They don't sell any motorcycles because people go in there and buy things that are cheap because if they, I don't know, nobody really wants to spend $25,000, $30,000 for something that they don't know they like. Like you said, until you put your butt on it, you don't know if you're gonna like it until you roar it down the road.
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy. Anyway, so right, same thing for you, D. What bike would you buy? But you got to keep it forever. Which one would you buy?
It's a pretty hard toss up anymore. Like 2 years ago, it'd been a Road Glide Limited. Anymore, it's like I kind of want to go an ADV route because I want to start getting into off-road riding some, but it's 2 hours one way to get to anywhere where we can do any type of off-roading, except for tar and chip roads, which that just depends on what roads they decide to do this year. So, but yeah, it's like I said, anymore. I'm kind of in a toss up between, at least for what I've ridden, between a Pan America and a Road Glide Limited.
Right on. Aaron just said he bought the Rebel without a test ride, and
I
that
bought
just
my Street Bob without a test ride, but I didn't have my learner's permit or license, so
yeah. Knowing that Aaron bought that bike without a test ride proves my point. I'm just gonna.
Well, her first bike was actually a Honda Shadow we bought her.
yeah.
And she hated it when she was trying to learn to ride. Like, she saw on it, thought it would be okay, but as soon as I was trying to teach her to ride, she's like, I hate this thing.
Yeah.
So
The Road Glide, I thought I was actually going to hate the Road Glide. I got it as a rental because the BMW was in the shop, so I got a Road Glide Limited, and I hated it for the first 15 minutes. Once I got it on the highway, I was like, I love this bike.
oh yeah, that's where it shines for sure.
Yes. So if I was to test drive that bike and all they would let me do is ride it around the parking lot, I would have hated it. I would never got it.
Yeah.
But now it's actually on the tray of things I might get one day because you can't learn getting on something and just sitting on it and putting on it for 5 minutes. You've got to actually stretch its legs to find out if you're going to like it or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why it's kind of nice when you can find the bike you're looking at possibly buying as a rental. Because demo rides, it's hit and miss on where places are and what the route is.
Yeah, rentals are a great idea. You get to ride somebody else's bike. It's like being the aunt or uncle, and your nieces and nephews come over. When you get tired of them, you can always give them back.
Yep.
What is one thing people may not know about you?
Is it yours going to answer first?
I think it's mine.
Okay.
I lost track.
Yeah, it's all good. I actually have 2 associate's degrees.
In what?
Diesel technology and agricultural equipment technology.
Nice. Well, you're in Ohio, so that'll pay off.
Yeah, well, if I decided to stay in that field, it would have, but I kind of decided not to because I'm like, I don't care for the hours that I end up having to work.
It's always something good to fall back on, though. It's not like having a, underwater industrial basket weaving
Yeah.
degree. It's something you can actually use if you have to. So,
Hmm.
right on. Josh Harris said he bought his wife without a test drive, so it's okay.
At least it's the best money you ever spent.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, I mean,
Annette, what about you? One thing people
Um,
don't know about you.
well, I guess mostly, like, people don't really know that I'm actually a very shy person at first when I meet people. And then, when they get to meet me and I'm being like really shy and laid back, they're like, "Oh, you're a nice person." And then I get to know you, and then they're like, "Oh, you're actually kind of an asshole."
What? So I didn't get to see either one of those things. I guess I was lucky because I bought you and it was full blast. Well, then again, we were at Forgotten Angels. Everybody was at full blast at Forgotten Angels.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron was around too, so that.
Oh yeah. So the ice was already broken, so it was just
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. So flip side of the question about the motorcycle: what bike do you want to ride just once, knowing you could never afford it or ride it again? And by that I mean like a bike that is. It could be any bike, but like for me, probably it would be like a Boss Hoss. I know I would only want to ride it once because if I rode it twice, it would probably kill me. So what bike? Just once. Let me on it once. Let me run it. Let me shake the balls off of it, and I'll never get on it again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think I'd probably try a Can-Am just once, just to say I rode it.
Okay.
Yeah, just to say I rode it.
All right, fair answer.
Just not owning it.
Better than a slingshot. So
Yeah, that's for sure.
what
Mine would
about
be
you?
like, mine would be like an arch motorcycle.
I
'Cause
get
I know I'll never be able to afford one of those.
I get arch a
Oh,
lot.
is that Keanu Reeves? Version?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
cool.
I used to want to ride a Confederate until I saw one in person, and I was like, I would never get on this thing. It's a death machine. It looks like riding a. I would say not a Tron bike. It looks like riding a tricycle that somebody just put the back wheel as one wheel instead of two, and they look so awkward once you actually get close to them. But I still want to ride it just once to say I did it, but I know I'd never actually get one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those. Okay, I wrote it. I'm good.
All right. So, what is your toxic trait?
um, people try. I get mad, a little. I get mad sometimes when I know I'm right and people try to tell me I'm wrong. Especially when it comes to things like about vehicles and whatnot. I've I've had to walk away from a few conversations because I'm like, if I stay around, I'm gonna just blow up on you and maybe end up in jail. Well, who knows?
Well, you think you get as you get older, you get better with that, and it's like an arch. You're very difficult as a young person, and then you reach this point where you're like, okay, I'm so accepting, I'm so accepting. Nope, fucking, I'm old now. Fuck you. And it is what it is. Annette, what about you?
I think I would say my toxic trait is that I get frustrated too easily sometimes, like especially when I'm trying to learn something new. If I don't get it like right away, I'm like, screw this, I'm never gonna get it. I'm done. Like that's probably my toxic trait. I gotta learn to be more patient with myself.
All right, good answers. So, last question for you guys. What is the one thing that you will never take a road trip without?
I would say like my gear, but I always have my gear on me anyway, so maybe my GPS because I am very geographically challenged. I get lost so easily. So, I think I'd probably make sure I have some type of GPS with me to make sure I can actually get back home.
Fair answer.
Yeah. Like when she was reading off the questions to me, my first thought was like rain gear, because you never know when it's gonna rain. But that's just stays in my saddlebag anyway.
Then that's it. I have a list of things. I have a list of things I won't leave without, but
Yeah.
it could be more than one thing, and definitely that's a good one.
Yeah, most of those things stay in the saddlebag anyway.
Yeah. Because I got that, a tool roll, duct tape, zip ties. Don't want to ever leave without that.
Little tire inflator.
That is important stuff.
Yeah. I've actually seen a video where a couple guys, their shifter linkage broke on their Ultras, and they zip tied it and duct taped it back together. That way they could get to the dealership to get it fit, a new one.
My $150 toolkit for the BMW came with zip ties, duct tape, and wire, and black tape.
Yeah.
So that is very important shit. I can't tell you the number of times duct tape and zip ties have gotten me out of a bind.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wrap enough, yeah.
If anybody doesn't believe it, just go watch Shade Tree's Shovelhead
Oh,
web shows.
yeah.
And always bring a knife.
And
always bring a knife, yeah.
Oh yeah, knife is also definitely a good thing to have.
Well, do you guys have any questions for me?
Trying to think. So, don't really know you a whole lot, so it's like hard to think of, besides a normal. And some of them they've been answered recently in some of your videos, so we've been starting to watch some of them.
Well, that's fair, and thank you.
Yep. Yeah. So
I got one more question for you. Who have you not met in the motorcycle community that you would absolutely love to meet?
That's a hard one. I haven't met Blockhead yet. I think it'd be cool to meet him.
yeah, Blockhead would be a cool one. Although I've heard some mixed things about him when you get to meet him. So, but
I think like any personality, I thought that at one time, and then I realized when you get as big as some of these guys and people want to meet you and they want to run up to you, do they want to meet you because they want to actually meet you, or do they want to meet you because you're famous and they want to be close to you and make it weird?
Yeah. That's
So I forgive a lot of these people that I used to think, oh my God, they're so stuck up and they don't want to talk and they have the weird look and they're trying to get away from you. And then you realize when I actually started having people run up to me and try to talk to me all the time, sometimes it would just get uncomfortable. Then I'd just have to remember I was at the same spot, and these people are why I do the channel and why I do the videos is because without them I wouldn't be here. So I've become more accepting, but I can see sometimes some of these guys, they just get so overwhelmed with people they can't go anywhere without people mobbing them. So I'm more accepting of it now.
yeah, you gotta kind of understand the whole fan freak out.
I did have someone run up to me, and this was my first forgotten name. The guy ran up to me and hugged me in a parking lot. I had no idea who he was. He's like, "You're Randy Ryder," and I go, "Yeah." And he freaking grabbed onto me, and my wife walks out of the gas station, and she looks at me, and this dude's wrapped around me like a fucking monkey, and she's like, "What the hell?" And I'm like, "Don't know." But anyway,
Yeah.
so Blockhead kind of.
Blockhead, or granted any of the guys that he works with, I think it'd be definitely cool to meet Sick Glide.
Out of that group, the coolest ones I met, and it would have to be both of them. It'd be definitely Captain Anna, because she now every time I see her, and God, now I can't remember his name. Dinah Bro. Every time I'm there, hey dude, what's going on? And they walk right up to you. They're so cool.
Yeah, we
And
actually talked with Anna. Well, at the Forgotten Angels.
Anna's always cool.
Yeah.
She won't do an interview with me though, but she wants her she wants her personal things, and that's cool. I totally understand it.
It's understandable. Everybody wants to put their life out there.
Yeah, and there's somebody else that's the same way. I mean, she would talk to me every time I go up there, and she'll talk on the camera, but she doesn't want to sit down for an interview, and I totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something easy to do. I'm glad you guys did it, but yeah, once you sit down for an interview, you're just putting yourself all out there. And some people want to be very controlling of what gets out. They don't want to be, and I know a lot of the times, especially this person has been bum rushed with questions everywhere she goes. So I can get it that she doesn't want to be cornered somewhere where she feels like she has to answer a question.
Yeah.
And that's totally understandable.
Yeah. It's definitely understandable when people are like, yeah, no, I don't want to do it. It's like, for me, I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I don't got too much to hide, so. Plus, not enough people know me, so I don't have to worry about some weird things happening.
You'll get there. It's when I was excited when the first person watched my video that I didn't know who they were. I thought that is so awesome. I have no idea who this person is. Now I've really made it because someone that it's not family or a close friend is watching my videos. So and it escalated quick. So good times. And it'll get there. Like I said, look back in a year. Look back where you are now. Just keep making the videos, and it's going to be so cool. You'll be amazed because I'm still amazed. Every 6 months I look back and I cannot believe how far I've come. And I'm still really not that far as some of these guys, but I mean, to me that's huge. I remember I was throwing celebration videos when I got 50 subscribers.
Yeah.
And it's all of a sudden it just cannonballs. And Josh says all the time, it takes so long to get this following, but it just keeps growing and growing and growing. As long as you put videos out, it grows. So keep doing it. It's great.
Do this just so we can remember our trips, because it's like our memory sucks some days when it comes to certain things. It's like,
yep. That's why I originally started doing it.
Right.
I originally started doing it where my friends in my family would know what I was doing. I just post it. It's like a Christmas card.
Yeah, because I mean, like his side of the family, they're really good about, like, especially his grandpa, sending out like letters, and he's even wrote a couple books to give to the family that talks about like his life growing up and everything. And we just kind of like, YouTube would be a cool way to do that, have it for future generations of the family, share with our current family and friends, and have a way to just look back on all the stuff we've done.
Oh, and Aaron, just to answer your question, she said I get the next new bike.
No.
That's what you said.
I changed my mind. We can upgrade together.
Josh said, "Oh man, Josh, you should have told me that." So Josh says he's getting interviewed by the local paper Wednesday. I missed my chance. I could have been his first interview.
Oh darn!
Damn it. Yep, Josh. Anybody's out there? I guess we don't have any of you right now, but anybody you guys watching this video, if you want to be interviewed, hit me up. I love doing interviews. It's something that I absolutely love doing, finding out about people. Hit me up. I'll do it. I ain't scared to ask questions. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and close this up. If nobody else has any questions out in the chat. Parting statements. You guys want to close it out for me?
I don't know.
All right. Well, if you guys want to see what we could do throughout our life and at least what we remember to record. So,
that's the hard part, is pulling the camera out.
So what's your Instagram? What's your YouTube? How do people find you?
Instagram and YouTube's both AZDZ Adventures. So, and then we don't have anything on Facebook besides our own personal profiles. So.
All right. So your next video is going to be out tomorrow. What time?
5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
5 p.m. Eastern. Right on. And then right after that, I have another interview. I'm going to be interviewing Bri the biker. So make sure all you guys come back for that one. It's going to be a good one. All right, guys. So go over to their channel and like and subscribe, and then go to my channel, like and subscribe, and see you guys in the future.
Yep.
Be good, everybody.